This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy. Taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now you're cutting out on me.
No, I'm not.
Oh, now you're not.
Okay, so we're officially starting what is the 151st official. Are you settled in? You settled in there?
31st?
51st episode of the Midweek Howl. So we didn't even, I've totally forgot last week to bring up that it was the 150th episode, which is kind of a milestone, don't you think? I mean,
yeah, I'm glad I talked about my buddy Ed on it because that'd be special. Just thinking he saw me and told me how he was listening to all of them, and now he's going to be listening in a while.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I mean, so the whole, podcast as a whole, I mean, we've done 330, 40 or whatever, but this is going to be the 151st one solely dedicated to all of our nonsense. So there you go. How does that make you feel?
I wish we had a way to track what followers were there at the beginning. I mean, who was follower number 1?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know because, oh my gosh, when we started, we used to do those. We look at the numbers every day just to see if anybody was listening.
Right.
And we would be excited if we got 100 listeners in a day or something, right? Wasn't that about?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't remember. I
have to go back and look.
I remember you were completely ate up with the numbers, and I did not take them serious.
Yeah, you did take them serious, but that's the only metric we have to see if anybody's other than people leaving positive or negative comments. You don't really know if anybody's listening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't.
So, you don't. So, so we get some numbers and we see some, and now, of course, I shouldn't say of course, I shouldn't make it sound, but, I just look at the numbers just to make sure we're still, we just haven't lost a bunch of people, but, no, now we're a far cry from just hoping we have 100 and, I mean, when we release a new paranormal episode, we have 100 downloads in the first 30 seconds or something crazy. It's crazy. So, I mean, whatever. People listen. Do they like us? I guess. I don't know. Or they wouldn't keep listening. Except, guess who was back in our comments?
Super fan?
The super fan that he every once in a while he pokes it, which is funny. Okay. It's funny. We've never addressed him by name, never given him that kind of satisfaction of having his name mentioned on here. I've often wanted to put his name and phone number up on our Patreon feed and let those people go after sending in messages.
No, let's not do that because
No, I'm not.
Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those trespasses against us.
I know. I just don't understand this guy. I mean, I know he's disgruntled. He's disgruntled with a lot of people. We know that because our social media person Nita did a deep dive and found out that you name it, he's filed a complaint against them, and I think he's in Arkansas or somewhere over there. But
yeah, I think you told me that earlier. And if he's from Arkansas, let's leave him alone.
You think he might be a little left to center or something, or what?
Well, you know why they call it that? They invented the toothbrush in Arkansas. You realize that, right?
What? Why is that?
Because any other place would be called teeth brush.
Oh, if I had the mixing board that Jason has, I could add a little, like, some canned laughter to that, or like.
I think we need a hi-hat. You know what I mean? Yes.
A little symbol. But yeah, he was in our comments, and he doesn't realize that nobody can see these comments but him and us. Nita has done something that completely blocks him from anybody else seeing him. He just gets on there and just says terrible, mean-spirited stuff, and he's like, I think he cursed at me in the last one, and I'm like, I don't curse. I don't talk to people that way, so I'm not sure why he feels the need to talk to me that way. And there was it's just nothing more than he must just be bored at 3:00 in the morning and turns on our podcast just to listen so he can say something. I don't know. I feel bad for him. I wish he had some other stuff to occupy his time, but what if he wants to take pot shots at me and whoever else, I guess, and that makes him feel better and fulfilled. Hey, more power to him.
Well, I don't even know if I want to say what I want to say. First of all, when he tells, he doesn't realize that we can't see it, right?
Yeah.
It goes to that poor girl that's got to read his
nonsense,
his attempts to blow your candle out to make his look brighter. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And the second thing, from my standpoint, because I get it third hand, be specific. When you say Shane screwed something up, I want you to say he did this, this, and this, or this instead of that, or something. Just don't say he screwed up the podcast, because that's a broad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We screw up a lot of stuff all day long. Okay.
Did I screw the audio up? Did I screw
so unless you're specific, we don't know. We throw you in the box to the rest of the complainers.
Yeah, we can't do anything to fix it, right? So to make
that's right. If you don't have any solutions, don't bring us problems.
And so speaking of podcasts, we want to welcome our good friend, the one and only Stacy Brown, skunk ape expert and conspiracy theory theorist extraordinaire, Stacy Brown. He and some of his cohorts down there in Florida have a new podcast. It's called The Podcast, but it's podcast PODCAST. And I sent it to you so you could check it out, because they do some it's under the guise it's paranormal stuff, but they got comedy. And if you enjoy, like I enjoy, a podcast called The Last Podcast on the Left, and those guys are so blue, they just, it's stuff I wouldn't say ever, or I wouldn't talk about, I wouldn't, like I said, I don't swear and I don't, do that or stuff, but I enjoy these guys. If you're funny doing it, okay, I'll give you your props. People that just swear just to swear, I don't find funny, except for you when you're talking to me on the phone. But Stacey Brown and RPG and the other guys involved in that podcast, I was laughing the whole time I was listening. And I mean, it may not be for everybody, but I encourage the people who, especially people that like some of the angles that you talk about things. I think they would appreciate Stacey and those guys' point of view. And So and they just have fun. And I texted Stacy in that first episode. They're talking about some guy named Peanut, right? Peanut broke into his room.
Yes.
And he woke. I'm like, I want to know what happened. I want to get Peanut on our show and get the real version of what happened when Stacy Brown woke up butt naked and found Peanut in his room trying to steal his TV. That's what I want. I think that'd be an interesting conversation.
Well, I was going to call one of them's nicknames RPG, and I kept wanting to call him Bazooka. Because,
Bazooka.
Well, because RPG is kind of a communist weapon, so
I
don't want to give the Chi-Coms any more good press.
Good for us. So RPG forever is going to be in your mind, Bazooka.
Probably, yes.
Okay, all right. But I think you probably enjoyed some of their humor and stuff. Yes, no?
Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, is super entertaining. So, maybe we'll have to have those guys on, have them tell us.
Yes,
what?
Well, I'm more of a rookie in the paranormal Bigfoot world. I've dated some Bigfoots, went out with some Bigfoots, ran from some Bigfoots. But I can prove they exist because I got their pictures in my high school yearbook. But as far as I've even dodged a buffarilla or two. And
a buffarilla?
Yeah,
What's a
what that is?
No.
Oh yeah, that's when they're part buffalo, part gorilla. That's the ones you really got to watch out for, buffarillas. Mm-hmm. They usually have one thing on their mind: holy matrimony. Back in my day, I don't even know what they think about nowadays. Now the old buffarilla's probably getting you cornered to put you on TikTok or whatever, so they can do a tattoo dance on your back or something. I don't even know how. You know what I mean? Every day I get further away from the world. You know what I mean?
Well, if the world's full of TikTok and buffarillas, I can't blame you. You want to get away from it.
I keep reading where they're wanting to ban this TikTok because the Chinese, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because they using it as spyware, supposedly.
And I like it. I think we should push more Americans on TikTok so the Chinese know what they're getting. First of all, you think it's hard feeding 1 billion people? Come over to Walmart and try to feed half of these people. You know what I'm saying?
Half those buffarillas.
Yeah, there's full Tatonkas in my Walmart. I don't know about yours, but they're full blown Tatonkas here. How would you feed them? How would you clothe them? How would you house them? How would you contain them? They've had 1,000 years to control people, little people, right? So I'm not saying size matters, but you don't see the freaking NFL full of Chinese linemen. Okay, so how are they going to control? Let's just say 25% of America's is in that category, right? So what do we got? 360 million people, 25%. Let's just do a third because I can calculate that a little easier, So what are you going to do?
120 million.
Yeah, what are you going to do with 120 fat people? You can't contain them. You can't. If they run to the West Coast, the fucking world will tip over.
Well, they're not eating rice because they wouldn't have been in that.
Exactly.
Situation, right.
So
right.
I say this is the best defense we have is a strong offense. So let China see what they're getting. You want to come here? We might fall down on you.
Oh, they're gonna need more chopsticks, right? To get it. Come on.
Yeah, chopstick. First chopstick ain't got a chance in this place.
Oh my God. Oh.
So, how does it feel when you play Roll Up to Win with Tim Hortons? Buy a hot or cold beverage using the Tim's app and find out. Roll in the app for a chance to win prizes ranging from free coffee and donuts to a Universal Orlando resort vacation or a sweet car. Oh, don't forget the TV. And this year, every roll is a shot at a $1,000 daily giveaway drawing for 2 $500 prizes. Roll up to win and get treated by Tim's. No purchase necessary. Account registration required. 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 plus entered by 4/2/23. See rules at rolluptowin.com for free entry and full details. Void in Florida and where prohibited.
Buffarilla. I don't even know.
Buffarillas and not even, I'm not even going down the illicit world of the dark web or I know we got some younger listeners, some of the dancing queens out there. I mean, how do those Asian people even process what they see?
I have no idea. I don't. Listen, TikTok is a necessary evil for like us to like promote the show.
I'm not on it. I mean, I can't even spell it.
Exactly. Well, what is funny though is I put up and I don't even know did I talk about this last episode? I put up a clip of David Allan Coe, okay, when we were in the studio like 6 or 7 years ago, and it's David basically talking about getting a song on the charts back in the day and how Paola was, involved and it's a cool 2.5 minutes. All right. And I put it up there because it's it's music history, hearing him talk about some stuff. And this little clip has been viewed almost 175,000 times in 2 weeks. It's been saved, I don't know, 10, 12,000 times. Share. I mean, the numbers are ridiculous for me on TikTok, okay? For anything that I put up. And but the wide swath of people that are making comments on there about a guy they don't know. And this just goes to show you, okay? I mean, I know David a little bit more than the average Joe. I understand what is behind some of the greatest stories ever told about him. And I understand that, people really think he's racist because of this album he did in the early 80s for, I think, was it Screw Magazine, I think?
I don't know.
And yeah, he got paid to do, I think it was like $25,000, he told us, to do this album that you could, and it wasn't, they called it the X-rated album.
Yep, I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he just came up with just some of the worst, like he just let his imagination run wild, okay? And he used the N-word in a song. He talked about gay people in a song. He talked about just some, I think there's a song about Linda Lovelace in there, as you can imagine, or Linda Lovelace. And, but he is the furthest thing from a homophobic or racist person. Okay. And, and David said it plainly to us. He goes, if I was good, he goes, I think it's funny that people call me racist. He goes, because I'm going to be racist against anybody, it's going to be against white people. And he went on to explain, because like I said, I think I've said before, we were part of a documentary that got filmed by him that may never see the light of day, but I wish it kind of would, because in his own words, he explains some of these things, that happened. And which, if you hear his point of view and why things happened, then you want to make a judgment and say some of the stuff, hey, go for it. Okay. But he explains in his own word, why, he grew up in the prison system. And
sure.
he said the people he hung out with were the black people in prison. He thought those were the guys that were cool and stuff. And he's like, white people only ever tried to screw me over and do this and do that. And it's very interesting to hear him talk about that time of his life. Now, was he a terrible dad? Yep. Was he a rotten husband? Yep. And he's not even a very good friend to some people, but I could say he's not racist. He's not homophobic, but his thing always is he goes, listen, he goes, why, if I sing a song, does that mean that is what I feel? He goes, what makes singing a song so much more personal on that work of art is an extension of me as a person. Why do people automatically jump to that conclusion? He goes, Clint Eastwood kills somebody in a movie. They don't think Clint Eastwood's a killer, right? He is an actor in a movie playing a part. And he goes, I am an entertainer, writing and singing songs for entertainment. They may not be for everybody, just like everybody doesn't want to watch a Clint Eastwood movie, or everybody doesn't want to watch, a movie with all the other horrible things that happen, but you don't associate that actor or actress as being that person you're watching on screen. And that's kind of how he told that to us. And, and I heard the story about, some of those songs and the genesis of them. And, it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. But in this TikTok, these people were they don't know any better. And it's the world we live in.
And they said he was racist on your TikTok.
They said he's. Oh yeah. They're calling him racist. Now keep in mind, there's nothing racist about the video clip.
Now they probably don't realize he's got shoes that are older than they are.
He does. Yes.
They've never heard of Chubby Checker.
Exactly. And they don't understand his backstory. And that's the problem is we got the keyboard warrior people on both sides of the fence that feel like they can sit there and, like the one guy, I said, look, David's not racist. I know him. And he goes, you know him? I'm like, well, who do you think took the video? I'm not. See,
that's another thing. Yeah, that's a whole. Finish yours so I can go on my tangent.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I put this up because I took the video and I thought it was an interesting. There's nothing racist on it. There's nothing. It's not even him bragging, and the other half of the comments that were, obviously there's tons of positive were people saying that he was bragging about himself, and it's like he's not bragging about himself, and it's just funny how people have something they just want to get out there, and they don't care what the context of what they're watching is. If there's a comment section, they're going to say what they feel, no matter if it's relevant to what it is, or even if it even pertains to anything, whatever the stretch of your imagination could be. They just want to say it just to say it and put it out there. And it's like, and I said to the one guy, I said, hey, look, I'm sure you wouldn't say what you just said to David or to me. So
did he respond back to that?
No. And I'm not threatening him, but I'm just like, listen, man, why would you get on somebody else's stuff and say something? It's like the superfan. Superfan wouldn't even, there's no way he would be standing in front of me and say the stuff that he has typed.
I don't know. He's from Arkansas, dude, and they're a different breed.
I don't care.
I mean, I know the Razorbacks haven't beat the Ohio State Buckeyes in a while, but that's the land of Jerry Jones and
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. That's right.
Yeah. But it's just. But I mean, to the point. The point is people. There's no ramifications for just running your mouth anymore, and we've talked about it. And it's silly. But I don't get mad. But I just point out plainly, hey, look, you don't know. You really don't know what you're talking about. So. Just go to somebody else's stream and write something. Don't. But thank you for helping the algorithm. Because every time one of those knuckleheads, just like the super fan, gets on there and types something, it just helps the algorithm. It pushes the TikTok video or the our YouTube channel up higher. So, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's all goes back. If there's so many times in life, right, that if people thought they were going to get smacked in the head, they wouldn't do the things that they do, right?
Yeah, amen.
Whether that's on TikTok or, I have a love-hate relationship with Twitter because I rarely comment on stuff because I don't have anything. I don't want to say I don't have anything worth saying, but I don't want to have anything worth saying. First of all, nobody believes whatever it is you say. Nobody believes it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, nobody believes it. So there you are.
We get that in the Bigfoot thing. That the other part of the podcast we talk about Bigfoot and other stuff like that. And I shared. We had a guest on, this young lady from Sweden. Okay, who had some really good photographs. All right, of what looked like a Bigfoot type creature in the trees. And we put them up and we shared them or whatever. And right away, people are, oh, that's just leaves. Okay. Well, discounting what this woman shared. Okay. It's not my job to tell you what it is you're seeing or not seeing. We're just putting it up there for people to look at. I talked to the lady. We did an interview with her. She seemed very credible. She seemed to believe, what she had seen. And the problem is these people get on there and say this crappy stuff and then wonder why. And then they go, why can't anybody share a really good picture? Well, because it doesn't matter. You can share the best picture of Bigfoot, UFO. It doesn't matter what it is. People nowadays call everything into question because you can manipulate video, photographs, everything.
And why do you think that is?
Why do they call it into question?
Huh?
Or because people are haters. They just hate. It's easier to be negative than it is to be positive, I think, for a lot of people. But I think a lot of people's lives pretty miserable, and I think they want to share the misery with everybody else. And I don't get that, And I know you give me crap because I try to be positive and stuff, but I grew up in a household where everything was negative. So I don't really want to be that way anymore. So I don't understand why people are that way in general, but man, it's terrible. It's terrible what people are not afraid to say to other people, I don't get it.
It's because the world's a bad place, Shane. And I know you want to look through it with your rose-colored glasses.
I do.
But you know what? The world's a bad place. Just the fact that we admit that Bigfoot could exist could throw this world into it. I mean, I just want to tell these Bigfoot hunters when I'm listening to them sometimes, what are you going to do if you find him?
I've heard people who claim to have had this.
What was that movie that came out? It was a kid movie where they had a big monster. What was it? Harry and the Hendersons. Yeah. So I think we ought to leave him alone. I think I'm going to start a nonprofit 501c3 corporation to battle the Bigfoot hunters. You guys just need to leave them alone.
Hey,
I'm going to be the anti and along with the paranormals because we don't need to wake them up.
Leave the ghosts
leave them alone. Yeah, absolutely.
Dog man,
because y'all screw around. What do they say? F around and find out. What are you going to do when you rattle a couple hundred paranormal ghosts and a dog man or two and you got Bigfoot with them? I mean,
that's a horror.
I mean, what are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Because Ghostbusters was a movie. It ain't real, right? So who are you going to call when some bad shit happens like that? It's like, did you ever see that where the government was sending some signal out to space to try to... how stupid is that? Now, how stupid is that?
Well, we say that all the time to the people that go out to the woods and do like Bigfoot calls and stuff. It's like, you don't know what you're saying. Like, so we're sending
it's like getting a Chinese tattoo. You don't know what it says.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That symbol you're walking around with on your bicep says little dick. I mean, come on. I mean.
Well, I'm going to tell you who I'm going to call it. I'm calling Stacy Brown and RPG at the podcast with a K. That's who I'm calling when it all goes down. Because I think are you all right?
What if he kills you? No, I'm not all right. What if you find Bigfoot and he rips your head off?
It won't matter anymore. Well, I mean, it's pretty much, Well, I mean, let's be honest. That could happen
It's like, I think the outer space people is really what we got to worry about, right? Because
extraterrestrials, yeah.
I was going to say extraterrestrial, but I didn't like the word terrestrial. What's that mean? Like they're on the ground all the time, or what?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So right. So I mean, if they have the ability to transcend space, the atmosphere, and get down here, we should have something a little catchier than extraterrestrial.
Ooh, okay. Maybe we should work on that.
We should go back to Pulp Fiction when they got Samuel Adams' Samuel
Samuel
Jackson's, Samuel Jackson's, billfold, right? That's what you would be if you were just a pint-sized extraterrestrial. And because out of all the millions of stars and suns and planets and shit in the Earth, we can't be the only one. And when these guys show up, they are not going to understand, in our way of thinking, the criminal code or the whatever. They're not going to understand, right?
Yeah, they're not going to understand.
You don't know if they're going to screw you or eat you, huh?
Buffarillos or whatever. They're not going to understand. They could embrace the buffarillas in the world, and then where would all these workout people and skinny girls be? Shit out of luck.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.
Did you know that 92% of households that join Peloton early in the year are still active a year later?
92% for a bike?
We actually make a rower, too.
Who actually knows how to row?
Well, our Form Assist feature can teach you how to row. Cool, huh? Whether it's a scenic row in Mission Bay, San Diego, or an intro to rowing class, Peloton has a class for you. 92% stick with it. So can you. Try the Peloton Row risk-free with a 30-day home trial. New members only. Not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.
Welcome to BreezeLine, where you'll say, ta-ta, T-Mobile, because we have 99.9% network reliability, and they don't. That's right. Time, weather, or even streaming in a basement won't affect our superior service. That's because we have real internet, backed by our fiber-powered network. And T-Mobile, well, they just have a 5G cellular network. So for a limited time, find your perfect speed with prices starting at $19.99 a month for 24 months. Terms and conditions apply. Go to breezeline.com to learn more.